So I've popped out today to my secret little place that I come to get my rotted horse manure. Nobody knows about this place, but I come here once a year. The owners have stables and they let me come here and get loads of well-rotted manure for my potatoes. And then in return, I give them a pile of harvest of cabbages and whatnot. Right, let's get this job done. Good morning. So I've come over today. When I got my manure yesterday. It's a little bit crisp today, but apparently it's going to be a glorious day. So I've got my manure. I'm going to put a handful or so in each bucket, and I'm going to plant some potatoes today, and I'm also going to sort my strawberry baskets out. Right, let's get that done. So all I do is take one of these hanging baskets. They're fully plastic and they've got some drainage holes in the bottom, but the issue is you don't want too much drainage, but you don't want them to become damp and boggy as well. So what I tend to do is I tend to put a bit of tape over the bottom of them, and you've still got some drainage, but your job is to basically watch the moisture in these in the greenhouse or polytunnel. So I add a little bit of manure in, not loads, at the bottom. A bit of compost, like so. And then you get your plant. I've overwintered these, but in one of these I tend to put about 3 in. So I'm just going to check that there's no bugs or anything in that could damage it. And then I tend to rip it apart and put 1 there. Try not to damage it too much. So there's a slight tear in between. Another one there, and another one there. Take off all the old foliage. There we go. And then what I do then is I just fill in the compost around, making sure that there's no gaps, like so. Now you want to make sure that the crown is not submerged. So you want to make sure that the top part isn't covered, because that's when it'll rot. So I fill that up now. And there you have it, your hanging basket's ready. I tend to put these in the greenhouse now, or the polytunnel. If you hang them in there, and you don't need to water them for another couple of weeks, but once it starts getting warmer, just top them up. Just keep an eye on the moisture levels. You don't want it too damp, but they don't mind a bit of moisture. And then you should get yourself an early harvest of strawberries by using all those extra plants that you had hanging around from last year. So I'm going to get on now and pot up all the rest. I've got 5 of them, and they'll just hang in the greenhouse, and you should get them about a month or so earlier than the rest. So it's just one way of, getting that extra harvest. It's nice and warm in there, it's nice and protective, and it's just something extra to have in spring early. And there you go, all 5 now are all hanging up. It's going to be a lovely sunny day, so we may as well just leave them out to enjoy that today. And then later on this evening when I go home, I'll pop them in the greenhouse and they're nice and protected. Right, next job. So the same principle applies for potatoes. So I've got my early potatoes. These are the rocket. I'll show you now how I plant those, and it's as simple as that. This is using Tony O'Neill's method from Simplified Gardening. I'll show you now. I've done this for about 3 or 4 years. About 3 or 4 years. And I gotta be honest, I've had amazing harvests. So all I've done is added some well-rotted manure at the bottom, not too much. And then I'll add a little layer of compost. Add 2 potatoes. These are seed potatoes, and these are rocket. These are first earlies. So I'll get a quick early crop. They take about 10 weeks to grow. So I put 2 next to the handles. Add a bit of fertilizer. Give that a bit of a mix in. This is just normal Wilkinson's fertilizer, potato fertilizer. There's one either side of the handles now, at 12 and 6 o'clock on a clock. Put some compost in. Another level. Add some fertilizer, not too much. Mix it in. And then because you've done them this side, you put them this side now. Like so. And then all you do is add compost to the top. No layering up, building up a bank every single week or so like you would in the garden. It's as simple as that. And what I tend to do is I put some straw on the top, or I even put like rotted bark on the top, and I found that amazing as well. And as simple as that. And then all I do is, I borrowed this little tip from Nigel at Muddy Boots. I had the bucket number 9 we're at the moment. The type of potato, rocket. And I always put the date on there that I've planted it. So today is the 16th of the 3rd. And then I also put here then what it is. So it's the first early. And then all I do then is I peel it off. It's just normal insulation tape. I use yellow in honour of him, because it's a brilliant channel, and he's one of the first ones that I ever watched. And then I just place that on there, tape it over, and then we're good to go. This pen I had off Steve from Digwell Green Fingers. He sent it over to me, super ink marker, and it doesn't fade or anything, so thank you very much, Steve, for that. So it's all done, all planted up. I will cover it over in a couple of days' time. Make sure that it doesn't get too moist now, and the moisture levels are great. Like, you don't want to leave this out in the garden now and it just rains and rains and rains. So my advice is to keep them indoors and control the water yourself. If not, cover them over if you're going to leave them outside, and then just water them accordingly. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It's all coming together now. That's what I love about this time of year, is that you've got everything. The beds are ready. Everything's just roaring to go, and we just need to get through that frost bit now, and then we'll be okay. There's frost on the ground today. So that was a bit of a shock, because I didn't think it was that cold. You know, I've come out today, I thought I'll clean the greenhouse over. I've got to find my greenhouse cleaner as well, so somewhere around here. That spurred me on. I seen Malcolm Kilnswell, he mentioned about his polytunnel needed to be cleaned. And I thought, mine's somewhere in here. So since I moved here, I need to have a little look in the potting shed and find it and give it a good clean over, because we want as much light in that greenhouse as possible. My chillies, I'm not joking you, they're about a foot high now. They are looking amazing in that, you know, my Vitapod. I'm looking round because there's so many little bits that I need to do today. And I'm also going to visit my friend's plot as well to have a little look around, give him some inspiration about layout and things. So, yeah. It's going to be a nice day, I think. And tomorrow, I think. Right, let's have a look at other things I'm going to do. Oh, also, I've moved the onions out now from the greenhouse. So they were overwintering in these buckets. And if you can see, they've been in there. They're looking lovely. The pak choi have well and truly bolted now. But the spring cabbages are fighting back those slugs. But I just don't like putting the thing on there to, you know, let them do their thing. Yeah, everything's coming to bloom now. We've got loads of things, like the raspberries are coming out, all the daffodils around the beds. They're all just looking lovely. All the buds are coming on, all the fruit bushes. You all know that's an exciting time, and if I know for a fact that if I rub this branch, it smells of blackcurrant. That smell, you know, it's unreal that a twig can stink of fruit. But I suppose it would really, is the blackcurrant bush. The pond still looking lovely. I need to get some pond plants that are going, you know, oxygenating plants. That's where I need to get. So I'm gonna see if any other people with ponds around the plots have got any. If not, I'll pop to the garden centre, no problem getting some. Oh, I've just noticed that I've got some more flowers coming out. Let me show you. So at the start of the year, I was wondering what these were, and everyone said that they was. I can't remember what they said they were, but I'll have a look. But they're exactly what they said they were. So thank you everyone who gave me the suggestions what they were, and you were all correct by the looks. But they look lovely there. I've also noticed that when I brought some pond plants over, I didn't realise that I brought some irises. Oh, just seen some life in the pond then. I'm digressing so much today. The daffodils are up, all the plants are coming now, tulips, everything. The asparagus is shooting up now. So I've obviously transplanted it, so I'm going to stay from harvesting this year. Or if I do, if they look really, really strong, and I'm having lots of them, I might take one off each plant and that's it. But there's no rush for them, it's just asparagus, you know. Delicious, but I'm just happy that they've transplanted and they're going strong. All these now are budding. So my plum, my apple, my cherry, and the polytunnel, the mini polytunnel. Let me show you the update. So we've got plants growing away lovely in here. They've got a good start of good compost, some well-rotted manure underneath. And also I'm starting to take all the other plants out of here now and pop them on and move them on to other things. So I'll probably move some of these out as well. Like my bay leaf can come out now. I've got a bed for all those, so kales, everything else needs to be moved out. It's just one of those days with like loads of little jobs, and I love those days. So I'm gonna go make myself a cup of coffee now, but it's cold. I don't know why it's cold, because it was so sunny. But it's just holding up to that cold snap a minute. Right, let's go get my coffee and then I'll do my little jobs. So I've just returned from visiting Matthew at his plot. I'm now going to empty my greenhouse. I've been to the salvage yard, ordered some wood, it's on his way, and I'm just going to build the raised beds all in the greenhouse, ready for the tomatoes this year.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
I finally got the greenhouse how I want it. I've got to watch I don't hit my head on those hanging baskets. Oh, there's just something magical about a hot drink, isn't it? I've finally done all the jobs I need to do in the greenhouse. I still got to sort out some of the shelves, but the beds are all done. They've all been prepped ready for my tomatoes and peppers and melons and chillies and what else am I doing? Aubergines. I finally got a space with a wider path, and I used to have a smaller path when I had raised bed like this in my old plot, in the same greenhouse, my old plot, and the one thing that I regretted was having a more shallow path coming in and deeper beds, when really it's still deeper than a grow bag that you would use for tomatoes. So I've got like a double patio slab now across. I will raise them at some point and put sand down and then level them out a bit better. It's just a nice working space. You know, I can bring a wheelbarrow in there if I need to do things and stuff, and I'm so pleased with it. I'm really pleased. At some point I want to wash the greenhouse, but you know, all these stories about the sandstorms coming and things, I think, you know, am I going to wash it and then that's going to happen? So I'm holding out for a few more days and I'm just going to monitor the weather. These strawberry baskets, you know, that I showed you earlier on that I did, I am going to run some kind of structure across the one side and hang them on there as well. And I think it'll be the same structure that I support my tomatoes canes to as well. So there's still loads of plans, but it just feels so spacious here now, because obviously I've moved the shelving unit to the back here now, so it's closer to the sun in, you know, in the afternoons. And yeah, and the good thing about these raised beds as well is that I'm going to make lids for them as well. I might still raise them up an extra layer up as well. I haven't decided that yet. And then I can use them as coal frames as well, because I've got plastic that I can use as lids to go all the way around, and use them as coal frames as well in the winter for some salads and things like that. And also the lids on top, I can place the buckets on top if I got potatoes in here that are overwintering or, you know, ready for staying outside from the spring, that are staying inside so that they don't catch the frost. The plot looks a mess though, because obviously I've pulled everything out here now and I need to reorganise that. So I'm going to drink this cup of coffee, sort out the rest of the plot, and I'm sure I'll be back soon. Thanks again for watching all, guys, and take care.